Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So last week I missed uploading a video, not because I was traveling, but because my Wi-Fi went out and it took the telephone company a week for them to actually call me back and come and fix it. So now that my Wi-Fi is back, I can get back to uploading videos and posting for you guys. So while I was without Wi-Fi last week, I was looking for a car. When I first got my license, my company gave me 21 days of rental cars. So I had a free rental car for almost a month. And then after that, it was time to start looking for a car or decide to do like a long-term lease. I looked into over time what would be more cost effective, and I ended up deciding to buy a car, not a new car, but a used car. Basically taking the funds that I got from selling my car back in New Orleans and then purchasing a car here from a seller. And in Qatar, there's a huge market for used cars because a lot of people like me are coming here for a few years and then moving. So you buy a car, you use it for a few years, and then you have to sell it. So there's a huge market for used cars here, and a lot of them are in really good condition, but there are also a lot of cars that are not in really good condition, so you have to also be careful in that respect. One of the main things to do on the weekend here is to obviously go dune bashing in the desert, and a lot of people just like drive their cars to death, so you'll get some cars that are a few years old but are totally trashed because people on the weekends are just driving them through the desert with like the intent of just trashing it. When I was looking for a car, I decided that I wanted one that had four-wheel drive, just so I had the ability to drive in the desert if I wanted to. I don't really plan on dune bashing every weekend, or maybe even at all. I don't know, I haven't ever done it before, so maybe it's fun, but I wanted to be able to at least drive to the beach, specifically for my dog Briley, and then also just for myself to have that ability. So I wanted to get a four-wheel drive car. There are a few different models that I was looking at, mostly just based on what was available on the market. And I ended up deciding, after test driving a few cars, that I really liked the Nissan Xterra because A, it was really affordable, not super expensive, and B, also it's a really tough car and supposed to be good for four-wheel drive and whatnot. So I decided I wanted one of those. The first one I test drove, I really liked. It had a few issues, so I was hesitant to buy that one. And it also had a lot of miles on it. So I kept looking, and then the weekend after that, I test drove the same car, the Nissan Xterra, that was a newer version that had quite a bit less mileage on it already. And I ended up really liking that one. So that is the one I ended up purchasing. Looking for cars in Qatar, especially used cars, is quite an experience. In the US, I had never looked for a used car myself, so I didn't really know what to do to start with. But here, there's not really like a trusted dealer or whatnot that everyone goes to. It's kind of just like a free-for-all. So there's half the cars will end up at like actual used car dealers, and then the other half is just people that are leaving selling their cars themselves. And that's the kind of seller that I felt more comfortable with, someone that was selling the car themselves, because when you go to a used car dealer, I don't know, I always just feel like, especially as a girl, people just try and talk you into, oh, this is a great car, and you never really actually know what you're getting. So I tried to stick with the individual sellers, the private sellers, and find a car that way, and it actually ended up working out just fine. One of the things you do here is when you get a used car that you like, you bring it to this German computer testing facility. I don't know if this is legit or not, but it's what everyone recommended doing, so I did do that. So what you do is you bring the car that you're interested in to this, I'll call it kind of sketchy place on the side of the road with the current owner. And then when you bring it there, you get in line and they do this test to check the engine, and they have all these graphs and whatnot for the car and like the cylinder firing rate, and then they take it for a quick road test, and they're supposed to give you results that are pretty accurate and that are supposed to tell you like if there's something really wrong with your car, and then if there's something really wrong, you don't buy it, and then if it looks okay, and then you can negotiate the price and buy it. It's $100, so it's really inexpensive, and it seemed like a, I guess, no-lose situation, so I took the car there and it was fine, and then I felt more comfortable making an offer on the car. I'm also not one for driving hard negotiations. I'm really bad at negotiating because I feel bad asking people for less money than what they're asking for. I don't know, something like about it just seems wrong to me, even though I know that a lot of times people will upcharge things because they expect to have to lower their prices. So I did offer something slightly lower on the car than what I was asking for, but it didn't end up being like that much of a difference. Still, I saved a couple thousand reals, but no big deal. But still, when I looked at the value of the car online, I ended up getting a lot less than what it's worth right now in the US, so I think that was a pretty good bargain. Overall, I'm happy with the car so far. I haven't driven it off-road yet, so I haven't had a chance to use the four-wheel drive, but I will hopefully do that soon. It's been great driving it all around the city. When I had my rental car, it was just a four-door sedan, so it was a lot smaller of a vehicle. Being up high, having almost like a large truck SUV is a lot nicer. You can feel a lot more comfortable, especially because the driving in Doha altogether is a little bit chaotic between all the taxis and Uber drivers just like flying by, and then also all the big SUVs flying by as well. It's a lot nicer to have a large SUV type vehicle, even though I don't need one personally for myself. It's just nice to be able to feel a little bit more intimidating on the road and less like you're gonna get squashed by every car that goes by. So I'm happy with that. The gas mileage on this car is not that great, but I don't plan on driving it long distance very often, and gas here is so cheap, it honestly doesn't really matter. Plus I work for an oil and gas company, so you know what? I'm just basically paying myself, right? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did like it, go ahead and give it a like below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I make new videos every Sunday, or at least try to, so stay tuned for new videos coming out each week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys!